But when night falls, he's a notorious assassin, living in the underworld. Anyone who is a prey within his sights cannot escape his merciless blade. Only because of the nature of his work, often working all night. He has to go to school early in the morning, so he's often a bit tired. As soon as he enters the class, he goes straight to his seat, then lies down to sleep, not bothering to look at anyone. Even though class president Midu Shuji greeted him enthusiastically, Kai didn't pay attention. It's also because of this personality that many people in the class feel uncomfortable with Kai. Including this pink-haired girl named Rina. She's a trendy gyru who stands out among the girls in the class. She always feels that Kai's way of treating people is very rude, unacceptable. And there's always someone higher. In the class there's also a rudder person than Kai, named Shunsuke, who is the leader of a notorious criminal gang in the area. Anyone who sees him is afraid and wants to avoid him. Shunsuke also has a few loyal followers. At this moment, Shunsuke turned and saw Kai sleeping on the desk. And immediately became uncomfortable. Shunsuke went over and called out to Kai. He was answered with a snore. Being ignored like that made Shunsuke start to get angry. He reached out to grab Kai and then to give him a beating, but he was quickly stopped. Kai sat up, yawning a bit. Then glared at Shunsuke. "I'm sleepy, what do you want?" Shunsuke found Kai's flippant attitude so annoying that he got furious and yelled at him. Kai remained calm and used a little more force to tighten his grip on Shunsuke's arm, making him unable to move. After a while, Kai let go of Shunsuke's hand. He angrily rubbed his hand and then cursed Kai as a damn freak. At this moment, student number 8 Kanzaki Rin spoke up. "You keep quiet." Kanzaki is a beautiful flower in the class, good at both martial arts and literature. She is also one of the top beauties in the school with her cold and distant beauty. Shunsuke frowned in displeasure when he heard Kanzaki say that. He wanted to go and provoke her, but was stopped by the serious disciplinary deputy Mirai. Another student named Yoshia, who looked superficial and ordinary, then reminded Mirai to just leave him alone, otherwise she might get blown away. Overall, this is just a normal school day as usual in the class with many things happening to Kai. But it will all end soon. Just as Kai was still dreaming in his sleep, he suddenly had a strange feeling. From under Midu's seat, a strange blue light suddenly appeared. It was a magic circle. It gradually expanded and then enveloped the entire class. This strange phenomenon made Midu a little confused, but still tried to stay calm and reminded everyone to quickly evacuate from the classroom. But with his sharp eyes, Kai had already realized that it was too late. The magic circle emitted a large, blinding light that spread all around. After a while, Kai's entire class was transported to another unfamiliar dimension. Even Kai didn't know where this place was. He observed the surroundings, a stone building with many large columns for cover and only one exit. Although illogical, Kai guessed that the whole class might have been sucked in here by the white light just now. The other students in the class also gradually woke up at this moment. Everyone was panicked and didn't know where they were. Midu, as the class president, tried to calm everyone down, to make sure that everyone was okay. Kai saw that, his face showed satisfaction. Midu is really a very good class president. But Shunsuke wasn't like that. He couldn't sit still and went around with his underlings to check things out. Kai saw this and immediately spoke up to stop him. He clearly heard footsteps coming from the door. A total of 2 people, a man and a woman. Just as Kai predicted. After the door opened, an older knight and a beautiful goddess appeared. Very impressive, dear hero candidates. All the students in the class were extremely surprised to see this scene, admiring their beauty. They looked like a knight and princess from the medieval period. Kai was standing behind a nearby pillar, observing the situation. The man must be a swordsman and was ready to attack. While this woman had little muscle and seemed quite ordinary. The goddess then spoke up to introduce herself. Her name was Leonora, the Archbishop of the Holy Diagrest Kingdom. Standing next to her was Gaius, her knight and bodyguard. Shunsuke immediately reacted after hearing the introduction, saying, "I've never heard of this country. Are you picking a fight?" Leonora calmly replied that it wasn't. Midu spoke up on behalf of the class, saying they were a bit uncomfortable with the sudden appearance here, asking Leonora if she knew what was going on. Leonora smiled kindly. She not only knew, but she knew very thoroughly, and was here to explain everything. Kai's class had now been summoned to a parallel world, as the hope of humanity to defeat the demon lord as hero candidates of this world. Midu still found it hard to believe after hearing that, while Shunsuke had lost patience, thinking Leonora was just spewing nonsense. Gaius saw his rude behavior and was angry, threatening him with a few words, but that only made Shunsuke even more annoyed. Gaius saw Shunsuke's insolence and got angry, assuming a stance, wanting to teach him a lesson, but was quickly stopped by Leonora. Gaius was stopped, but Shunsuke wasn't. he got riled up and recklessly threw a punch towards Gaius. Kai, standing on the side observing, also acknowledged that this guy was tough and courageous, not hesitating to confront the person with the sword at his hip. In fact, with his experience in fighting, Shunsuke had also fought with people holding weapons. He thought that as long as he dodged and got close, it would be advantageous to fight barehanded. But that experience didn't apply in this world. In front of him was a swordsman of many years, who was just a mosquito compared to a kid like him. Gaius only needed to swing the sword lightly to cut a strand of hair and injure his forehead. This skillful skill made Shunsuke lose consciousness in a few seconds. He didn't even see the sword move. The other students in the class were also shocked by this scene. Leonora felt a bit of a headache seeing the situation. She politely apologized for her night's aggressiveness and affirmed that she had no intention of harming anyone. She herself would explain the world and the reason they were brought here right now. So first of all, everyone must remain silent. As Leonora had said before, because of the Demon Lord's invasion, humanity in this world could potentially become extinct. Their country, the Holy Diagrest Kingdom, had been constantly resisting, but to no avail. They were unable to completely stop the invasion. The only thing remaining for humanity and the last hope were the students here, the hero candidates. To put it bluntly, Leonora wanted to ask these high school students here to defeat the Demon Lord. The students knew it wasn't feasible after hearing that. They had never fought before. Waiting until the next life wouldn't guarantee they could do it. Not to mention fighting, there were some in the class who were already weak, scared to death and crying, wanting to go home. Gaius saw that and immediately said sternly, "Although it's difficult, you have to try. Besides, they can't go back to their world now. Unless they defeat the Demon Lord." Everyone in the class turned pale after hearing this. Kai was still standing behind the pillar, observing everything, ignoring the authenticity of the information. It seemed like Gaius was trying to motivate the students here. But even so, for people who had always lived peacefully like this class, they couldn't suddenly start killing people. Whatever they wanted to do, they needed knowledge, experience, practice, and above all, talent. Being randomly called here and being forced to be silent and obedient made Shunsuke feel extremely uncomfortable. His anger boiled up, wanting to explode to the brain. Gaius took a quick look at this young man and felt that his spirit was still intact after the recent fight. He realized that Shunsuke could be a useful warrior, but also could cause trouble. Gaius was about to draw his sword and finish off Shunsuke right here, but Leonora stepped forward, gently placed her hand on him, and recited a healing spell. Immediately, the wound on Shunsuke's forehead slowly healed. Leonora continued to speak in a gentle voice, comforting Shunsuke and everyone here. "I know we behaved rudely. From the bottom of my heart, I sincerely apologize." Rina was extremely surprised to see this scene. This magical light was the first time she had ever seen it in her life. Leonora happily explained that this was a power called system. In this world, they used a system of powers granted by God Daguerreist and temporarily created new phenomena in the world, or otherwise known on Earth as magic. Kai, hearing this, realized that Leonora seemed very knowledgeable about human culture. It was probably not the first time she had summoned people from other worlds. Leonora suddenly approached class president Midu and said that he was the reason she had summoned the whole class here. Leonora gently placed her hand on Midu's forehead. Immediately, a strange sensation of pain washed over him. Then Midu's hand suddenly began to glow. And then from that light, it turned into a sword. Leonora said that Midu could utilize the power of this system and awaken his innate ability, God's Guardian. Leonora had unexpectedly summoned the students of this class here, so now, they couldn't return. Although she knew it was a selfish request, Leonora still begged them to stay here and try to protect the holy nation. But Midu thought that no matter how much power they were given, the class wouldn't be able to fight immediately. Leonora, of course, understood this, so she would arrange for them training time, and of course, during that time, the country of Diagrest would be responsible for taking care of everyone. Midu agreed when he heard the conditions. And then turned to advise everyone in the class, "I know you guys are scared, but to survive here, first, we need information and protection. I'm sure the God's Guardian will be useful when we encounter difficulties, so maybe we should listen to them at this time, okay?" The whole class, after hearing this, gradually agreed with the class president's idea. After that, Leonora gave everyone in the class their own God's Guardian. Mirei's God's Guardian was a remote control pen. Shunsuke's was a light that enveloped his hand, called Explosion. Everyone had their own God's Guardian with its own unique characteristics. Kai, because he had been hiding for so long, still hadn't received one. Seeing this, Leonora immediately placed her hand on him. Suddenly, a powerful red current of electricity emitted, causing Kai's vision to gradually change. When he opened his eyes, Kai saw a strange system panel appear before him. the content displayed on it was information about the Saint Leonora. Kai's eyes had also turned red at this moment. Leonora said that this was the appraisal god's guardian, a rather rare type. Seeing that Kai looked confused, she explained further that it was a form of power that allowed him to see the target's information. Kai, after hearing this, immediately raised his hand to look and check it out. A system panel with all of his personal information and power appeared. Now Kai understood how this god's guardian worked, like a status screen in a game, but easier to understand. Suddenly, Shunsuke, at this moment, rushed in and punched the ground, showing off and making everything shake. Kai also almost couldn't stand still. Shunsuke's punch caused a large hole to form in the ground. He looked at Kai with an arrogant and disdainful expression. "What do you think of my explosion? Thought you got something special, all you got was a pair of red eyes, huh?" The whole class, after hearing Shunsuke's mocking words, immediately burst into laughter and made fun of Kai. Rina even thought that his situation was due to his behavior as if he were very important. Kai didn't understand why this class suddenly behaved so high-spirited and strong. There wasn't any information to know what was useful or not, and anyway, the god's guardian was just a power they borrowed from this world, so they didn't know when they would be deprived of it. But for someone with experience in killing people like Kai, that wasn't a problem. At this moment, Leonora spoke up in front of the crowd. "You all must have received your god's guardians, right? I know it's a bit difficult to control at first, but they will be your weapons to fight the Demon King." Then she smiled. "Okay, you must be tired, get some rest today." Then in the evening, the hero candidates were taken to their private rooms. Kai glanced around and thought to himself that he should gather some information before going to sleep. Outside, some soldiers were on patrol. "Damn it, why do we have to patrol so late at night when we can't see anything anyway? We have no choice since the hero candidates were just summoned, right?" They mumbled. "Hero candidates, huh, they can protect themselves. As far as I can see, they still smell like milk. They don't even look like they can fight. And they're going to defeat the Demon Lord. It sounds absurd. Surely the Saintess knows things we don't." Kai was standing behind a large tree trunk. He had overheard their conversation. He glanced at them and thought, "This is the third time I've encountered soldiers. From what I've heard, they're probably increasing their defenses." He used his gaze to scan their information. Name, Rin, age, 31, gender, male, attack, E, defense, D, agility, F, stamina, E, system strength, F, status, normal, skill, swordsmanship level 1. He thought, his only skill is swordsmanship. I thought they might be able to use a system or something and detect me, but I guess not everyone here can. Taking advantage of the moment they're not paying attention, he dashed quickly in the opposite direction. As he ran, his eyes coldly stared straight ahead. In his mind, he thought, "And I already have a grasp of most of the geography around the castle right now. This is a typical fortified city surrounded by walls." At this time, there were 2 soldiers guarding the outside, who seemed to be a little sleepy. Hidden in the bushes in the distance, Kai watched them, thinking, he was quite curious about the inside of the castle, but it was heavily guarded and built very sturdy, so it would be difficult to sneak in. He slowly snuck through the thick grass. Well, no need to rush, that's enough for today. Suddenly, he noticed 3 girls standing in an open area. "This place is great, isn't it? It's so spacious." Kori was worried at this moment. "Hey, maybe we should stop, they'll be angry with us." Yumi replied, "What, are you scared? We're just going to practice our divine protection a little bit. It's okay, they'll only be mad at Hashimoto." At this time, Rina spoke up, "I can't sleep either, besides, this is for our own benefit." After that, the 3 of them immediately used their energy to unleash their own techniques. Kai stood in the distance, carefully observing the 3 of them. He focused on the flames in Rina's hand. "Divine protection of the gods, I'm still curious about many things, let's watch for a while." Suddenly, he realized there was a strange sound. Kai turned around to search. What is this feeling? The others also noticed the abnormality. "Hey, do you guys hear that strange sound?" Immediately after, they all looked in the direction of the sound. "Yes, what do you think it is?" Suddenly, a monster appeared. Its large appearance terrified everyone. They screamed in fear. "What is that?" Kai was also a bit taken aback. "I've never seen a creature like that before, it looks like a lizard." But immediately he activated his assessment skill. "That's not its name, it's the name of the species. No, this isn't important right now." Lizard Val, age 4, gender, unknown, attack, B, defense, C, agility, C, stamina, F, mana, F, status, aggressive, skills, none. The problem is that its stats are completely different from Nagase and the others. At this moment, the monster roared, and its mouth emitted some kind of strange gas. Immediately after, it roared and rushed very quickly towards the three girls. This made them run in panic. Kai sat by the rock, observing the situation. It was aggressive and didn't hesitate to attack humans. It also moved quickly on all fours, but only ran in a straight line. It didn't seem to have any intelligence. Then he pulled out a small knife. Its skin looks tough, so I'm not sure if the knife will work, but... He decisively threw the small knife towards the monster. The knife immediately plunged into its rough skin, and blood continuously poured out. Wounded, it stopped running. Kai observed that throwing the knife seemed to be effective, even if it was just a shallow cut. The three girls kept running, even though their bodies were starting to show signs of fatigue. However, while running, one of them tripped over a rock in the road. Rina fell down painfully. Rina. She sat up, holding her head, and said weakly, "It hurts so much." Suddenly, when she turned around, she was shocked. When did the beast catch up to her? It was staring at her. Rina screamed in fear, "No." However, she didn't have time to run anymore. It reached out its paw to grab her. Rina. She fearfully raised her hands to resist, her mouth screaming non-stop. After a long while, not seeing any movement, she peeked and saw the beast stabbed to death. Rina was surprised, with a few tears still lingering in the corners of her eyes. Seeing that scene, she was afraid and huddled up, not daring to move. At this moment, Yumi ran over and helped her up. "Rina," she asked in a daze, "what happened? Did someone save me? Let's just go, I don't want to run into any more monsters." Kai sighed in relief, finally leaving. "I have no reason to save them, but ignoring them goes against my conscience." He approached and pulled the knife from the monster's body. "So, there are monsters like this wandering around everywhere in this world. It seems like things won't be easy here." Suddenly, he was startled as he realized something. Immediately, Kai hid behind the beast's body. He cast his gaze far away, but saw nothing. His eyes narrowed with coldness. He thought, "Is someone there? I should probably go back." Immediately, Kai activated his teleportation and vanished. On the other side, a mysterious person stood there, watching him run away. Then he approached and stomped on the beast's head. Blood splattered all over the cloak. "Hero candidate, I was so disappointed to see how useless and weak they are, but..." He licked the blood that had splattered on his face. "It has the same smell as me." The next morning, the beast's corpse was dragged into the academy's courtyard. The students, seeing it, immediately backed away in fear. Gaius spoke. "Last night, this monster was found near the royal capital." As soon as they heard that, Midu's expression was thoughtful. Erasure on the other side was equally surprised, his eyebrows furrowed. The girl standing there, witnessing the scene, was also frightened, her eyes tearful. "Monster." Gaius added, "The demon lord has driven them mad, and they crave human flesh. This is what you will fight against." "Steady, what have you found out?" Steady examined the color of the blood and said to him, "This is a trace of the use of a curse. Perhaps it was a demon above the Truneg level. Maybe they were scouting to see our strength, after hearing rumors about the hero candidate." At this moment, Kai was lurking behind a pillar, eavesdropping on the situation. He thought, "Curse, a new word, is this different from magic?" Midu stepped forward and said, "Are you saying that this monster was controlled by a demon or something?" Steady replied, "Oh, you're sharp, that's right, powerful demons can use curses to manipulate and control weaker monsters." He explained that the word monster refers to creatures transformed by mana until they become ferocious and abnormally strong, and mana is the parano power created by the demon god. In other words, it is the power that the demon lord and demons use, so of course, demons can easily defeat humans. Suddenly, Gaius cut him off. "That's enough, stop." This made him annoyed and shouted, "What?" Then he was dragged away without mercy. I still have a lot more to explain. On the other side, Kai thought, he's a researcher, I can probably use him to gather information. His eyes narrowed. The bigger problem was, then he looked at the beast that had lost an eye. What else is controlling this? He then activated the controlled status system, and he thought. So, the identity of the eye I sensed at that time was a demon. He kept staring at the beast. It must have been very strong because I barely noticed it for a moment if it was around us right now. At this moment, the mysterious person was still watching his every move. He laughed maniacally. "Fear only brings death, you know." But hearing his voice, he steadied himself in his mind. "I'm not afraid." At this moment, Erasure said to Gaius, "These guys can't return to their world unless they kill the demon lord, and I don't intend to stay in this damn world for long either." Rin on this side also agreed. "Yeah, for the first time, he's right." Midu also supports it. Okay, if we want to go back, I think fighting is our only option. However, some girls showed their fear. "Fight those monsters, I'm so scared." Kai on this side thought, they've probably realized this isn't a game, fighting is a fight to the death, it's the same in any world, they better learn the weight of that truth quickly. Leonora walked and muttered, "Come on, don't be too scared." She said to herself, "You just don't know how to use your powers yet, all you have to do is practice. Because you are chosen ones from another world as hero candidates, your rate of development is also different from the inhabitants of this world." And then a week passed after the students began training. Kai looked at the book and thought about some things. I can understand every letter, wow, it's strange that we can talk to each other from the very beginning. Suddenly, some sounds from outside attracted him. Outside, they were practicing swordsmanship. I was told that my assessment skills are not suitable for fighting, so I am not trained, but I can go to the library. Suddenly he remembered Leonora's words, why not read a book? As soon as she said that, they all laughed at her. He put his hand on the table and stood up. Is this all their history and culture? He thought, it seems there's no information about demons here either. Looking outside, they are still constantly practicing. Kai stayed in the corner to observe. Just as Leonora said, the students are developing at an incredible speed. The 5 strongest among them are Narumi, Arashir, Kanzaki, Hashimoto and Nagase. However, there's another person with extraordinary development speed. At this moment, he saw a sword spinning in the air. Then it was plunged straight into the ground. The coach was surprised. I surrender, I can't believe you're stronger than me. Midu on this side in the armor, his face was cold, looking extremely handsome. He smiled brightly, it's all thanks to your guidance, thank you very much. This made Kai extremely surprised. He immediately scanned the person's information. Name Midu Shuji, age 17, gender male, attack A, defense B, agility A, endurance B, mana A, normal condition, demon slaying sword skill, God's Guardian level 8, swordsmanship level 4. Just a week ago, his stats mostly ranged from here to F. He couldn't help but feel a little worried. So fast, even though he's a genius, does the God's Guardian have an effect on things not directly related to strength? At this moment, a group of people approached him. They kept mocking him. Hey, what's the non-fighter doing on the training ground? Just read a book in silence. Kai stared at them and thought, these people are still the same as before. Looking at his sneering appearance, the others were also despising him. He was a little annoyed. They became more and more arrogant after receiving their power. He still kept teasing him, why are you ignoring me, be friendly. As soon as he finished speaking, he was tripped by him. He rolled over and fell to the ground. Kai provoked, what's wrong, Muta, why did you fall, are you okay? His friends ran over worried. He screamed in pain, you dog. Arashir spoke, that's enough, he's coming. On the other side Gaius and Leonora were walking over. Seeing Leonora pass by, Kai couldn't help but stare. They, at this moment quickly returned to their training positions. Leonora smiled brightly, thanks for paying attention. She added, you are all developing very quickly, faster than we thought, so we decided to move the plan forward earlier. Narumi said at this time, the plan, you won't tell us to go kill the demon lord right away? Of course not, I'm not that evil. She closed her eyes, I want you to practice fighting monsters. They were surprised, and the monsters' faces showed signs of anxiety about the fight. On this side, Kai's gaze was fixed, as if he had made a calculation. At this moment, Gaius said to everyone, well, about the combat exercise, as you can see, we're in the middle of the forest. His expression was extremely serious, and this place was full of hardship, so you kids couldn't go as a single group. Therefore, we'll divide you into groups of 2 to 3 people. Leonora smiled, her face radiant. At this moment, Rina said, 2 to 3 people, let's team up. Shuji, okay, can I join too? On this side, they were also exchanging ideas. Arashizan, we'll go with you, we'll eliminate all the monsters, try to bother you, do whatever you want. Why do I have to team up with someone like you? Come on, we'll be fine. A moment later, Gaius asked everyone, alright, have you all formed teams? What about these two? He looked towards Kai and Rin. Rin hesitantly said, I'm sure they don't want to team up with me. She thought to herself, maybe it's because they're afraid. Then she turned to Kai, I guess the only way is to team up with you, right? Kai coldly replied, yeah, alright. Kanzaki, she's a confident and indifferent person, and also, she's proud and seems like she won't let anyone get in her way. Then Rin realized someone was looking at her. She spoke up, what, why are you staring at me? Nothing, let's go. Then she also turned away, with a nonchalant expression. Leonora spoke up, listen everyone, because this is a special occasion, the team that eliminates the most monsters will receive a surprise gift. Good luck. Okay, so, the practice match begins. In the forest, Rin was walking ahead, and Kai was following behind. As she walked, Rin said, listen to me, my guardian is stronger than the others, so I don't need you to do anything, just don't get in my way. He replied with a tired expression, okay, I'll leave everything to you. Rin's eyes glanced down slightly, don't you have any self-respect? On this side, he thought to himself, let's observe her fighting ability first. Then he looked around, I've sensed 4 presences around here, then he felt something, they're surrounding us. Suddenly, a goblin appeared from the bushes. Rin was surprised, is this a monster? The goblin emitted a growl, and rushed straight towards them. Rin channeled power, releasing a stream of energy forward, lie down, monster. The monster was quickly surrounded by spirit energy and fell flat on the ground. This gave him a different view of this girl, watching her dominate the beast, he thought to himself. That's her guardian, domination, this is the ability to force the target to obey orders. Kai looked around and said, it seems there are still a few monsters around here, alright, understood, drop your weapon. Immediately, following her command, the beast dropped the club in its hand and put its hands behind its back, it was as if its arms were controlled by a stream of power. At this moment, he asked her, what's wrong, you seem tired, she replied, using the guardian for too long makes me tired, he thought to himself, so it consumes a lot of mana. Then he walked towards the bushes, just kill that one, the others will come over, kill. But isn't this monster a bit human-like? She looked at the crying monster, looking pitiful. Kai immediately replied, so what, you know it tried to attack us, these are our enemies, there's no reason to spare them. Rin looked towards him, yeah, I know. At this moment, Kai picked up a stone, despite her strength, she's still just a naive student from peaceful Japan. He tossed the stone in his hand, well, the only important thing is whether she makes the right choices when facing danger. At this moment, 3 similar monsters also appeared, they emitted growling sounds. The monsters slowly approached where Kai was standing. He immediately said to Rin, here they come, she replied loudly, I know. Then she used her power to dominate them, and they fell down. Then he asked her, so, what are you going to do now? Silence, don't just stand there, help me, you were the one who said you didn't need me to do anything. At this moment, her expression was a bit tired, I will kill them, that's what I need to do, right? Then Rin ordered them, monsters, twist your own necks. The monsters could do nothing but twist their own necks. The others were similar, blood continuously gushing out. After it was over, she looked at them in horror. Kai asked her, so you can also issue that kind of command, she replied, yes, but the more difficult the command, the lower the chance of success. She covered her mouth with her hand, really fighting and seeing the dead bodies with her own eyes, I was wrong to think this would be easy. Looking at the dead beasts on the ground, he said, these attacked us, so they are our enemies, it doesn't matter if they are monsters or humans, you have to kill your enemies. His eyes were cold, if you want to live, that's what you have to do. This made her extremely curious, why, how can you be so calm, you don't even have any power. He picked up the corpse of the beast, don't worry about it, keeping a calm mind is my strength, it doesn't seem to have anything good to loot. Then he turned and asked her, so what now, are we going to continue, or can we go back if you're scared? Rin stood there looking at their corpses, not knowing what to do for a moment. She turned around, of course we won't go back, let's go on. Looking at her back, he thought to himself, she's just trying to appear brave, but I have to admit, her personality isn't too bad, we can fight. Going deeper for a while, he wondered, I wonder how the others are doing. On this side, they were running without stopping. Narumi, while running, shouted, hey, what should we do, why are you asking me, I thought the monsters here were supposed to be weak. Suddenly they stopped, damn it. Then he launched an attack towards them, all or nothing, wind blows, let's attack together, stone throw. A tornado appeared, pushing the large rock straight through. Descend upon that beast. However, it didn't budge at all, its eyes still coldly watching them, it tensed its body, then stomped its foot. This startled the two of them, this is bad, what's wrong with that monster? The beast slowly took steps towards them. I have to return to my world, I still haven't repaid my father's kindness for raising me until now. I really want to show him how much I've grown up and make him happy, I bet he's really sad right now, Rin thought, her wrist tightening around her clothes. Kai spoke up, we'll go on, what if we get lost, she replied, going straight is what kind of thing? He mumbled while walking, if that's what you think, then you're underestimating this forest. This made her extremely angry, can you just shut up, then she glared at him with an unfriendly look. While walking, Kai thought to himself, he's strangely arrogant, what's wrong with this guy? At this moment, he glanced at Rin. Kai seemed embarrassed, why, you shouldn't stare at other people, she pouted and quickened her pace, nothing. Suddenly a roar echoed from deep within the forest. This surprised the two of them. Rin said, was that Hashimoto-san's voice just now? Kai also glanced towards where the scream came from. It seems she's in trouble, what should we do? On this side, Rin had already turned around. Of course we'll go help, I hope she's okay. This surprised Kai, you're so kind. She turned around, her voice sharp, who do you think I am, let's go. The two of them went deeper into the forest together. On this side, Hashimoto was in danger, she fell to the ground in pain. Narumi yelled in extreme worry, Hashimoto, are you okay? Her face was covered in wounds, she whispered, I'm okay, just run. Narumi walked towards her, I can't leave you here. At this moment, he looked up, danger was threatening both of them. A beast was approaching, its claws raised, he was startled, damn. Suddenly a voice rang out, listen, monster, freeze. Immediately its arm was frozen, and its whole body stopped. It turned out Rin had arrived just in time, she cast a control spell on it. Narumi was surprised, Kanzaki, thank you for helping us, this is bad, she replied, I can't hold it for long. On the other side, Kai was staring intently at the beast. He thought to himself, just as I thought, Kanzaki's power has different effects depending on the target. Narumi, is Hashimoto alive? At this moment, Narumi said to Araji, he's in pain but still breathing, Kai replied. Then carry him and get out of here now. Narumi's face was worried, no, I can help, Kai replied, are you going to abandon Hashimoto like that? On the other side, Hashimoto was injured, she sat there looking pained. At this moment, Narumi immediately carried her on her shoulders, sorry, I leave it to you too. Seeing them leave, Kai said, ask for help when you see Midu or Leonora. Okay, he thought, let's see. He stared intently at the controlled beast, the problem is this one. At this moment he cast his gaze towards it, activating evaluation. The system immediately appeared, species ironclad bear, mutated species, age 10, gender available, attack B, defense A, agility C, endurance C, mana F, status agitated, dominated, controlled, abilities none. He looked at it and thought, the stats are high, especially the defense, its fur looks tough too. He looked again at its leg armor, I don't think my attacks can destroy it. Suddenly he was surprised to discover, special species, what is this special species? On the other side, Rin shouted, I can't hold it any longer. The monster, having lost its time limit, began to move. Kai said, you've bought enough time, let's run. Rin glanced at him, what, okay. Suddenly she collapsed to her knees, her eyes becoming blank, what? Her voice was weak, her body was trembling, sorry, I can't move my legs anymore. She glanced and saw the monster slowly approaching. At this moment, he took something out of his pocket, thinking, this is bad. He threw something, it floated in the air. Reaching the beast, it immediately emitted a thick cloud of smoke, limiting the beast's vision. On this side, Kai's eyes were heavy with worry. Then he suddenly picked Rin up, which surprised her, huh. He gestured to her, silence, it will hear. The two quickly hid behind a large tree trunk. She asked worriedly, what was that smoke just now? Kai replied, it's just a smoke bomb, I made it while you guys were training. In his heart he thought, of course it's a lie, I had some equipment on me before being summoned, because there isn't much I don't want to use them carelessly, gun, knife, smoke grenade, training knife, this is what you call basic assassin equipment. Suddenly Rin said, I'm sorry, which made Kai wonder why the apology. I was the one who said we should help them, but it turned out we helped ourselves, no need to apologize, I'm ready to hear your thanks now. Her eyes sparkled, okay, thank you. He teased her with a few words, if you are always so gentle, everyone will probably like you. This made her yell angrily, not me. Then he ordered again, don't make me repeat myself, silence. What do you want to do now? I think we should run, it doesn't seem necessary. The beast on this side is still constantly looking for two people. Suddenly it seems to have discovered something. It turned out that Midu's group came over, you are the monster that attacked Narumi and the others, now you will face me. He immediately cast a move, activating the demon-slaying sword. Midu also made eye contact with each other. At this moment, Midu held his sword and approached, his eyes coldly looking at the beast. Immediately he grabbed his sword and rushed in, his mouth kept shouting, the beast on this side also roared no less. It also became panicked, its mouth spewed out foam everywhere. Right when the attack was swung, Midu quickly dodged, then he tightened the sword in his hand, a sword slash. Bright light flashing with blood stains. The beast was slashed by him straight into one arm, hit by the painful blow it kept screaming. Midu stared at it, too tough. At this moment Rina also rushed in to support, Shuji, get out of the way, it's burning. The fire attack rushed in, causing the beast to struggle in the burning fire. She laughed and said, "How can you stand it?" On this side Midu praised her, "Good job, Rina." The beast was hit by 2 consecutive attacks, it roared with an echoing sound. Its eyes widened, the pupils dilated and red, its teeth were extremely sharp. This made Rina stunned. "Impossible." Midu said at this time, "Calm down, Rina." He observed the beast, his attacks must have had an effect, it moved slower than before. Then he asked everyone's opinion, "Let's calm down and kill it together, okay?" The 2 girls replied in unison, "Okay, understood." Then everyone did their own thing. Midu grabbed his sword and rushed in, Rina opened the fire attack move, Yumi was also charging. Delphi's revealed a savage smile, "Now it's just a matter of time." He is the former demon assassin Delphi's standing on one side observing. He thought to himself, perhaps at this moment Ironclad Bear could not hit them, their rapid progress and above all their calmness were very impressive. Then he looked at Midu, especially at him. "Even though this is just a reconnaissance mission, it's time to change the plan, I will finish them here." On this side Midu still doesn't know what's going on, he launched an attack on the beast. Under his slashes, it was quickly seriously injured, blood kept oozing out. At this moment Midu shouted, "It's time to finish," he thought to himself, "Remember this lesson for the next world, boy." Then he stabbed straight through its body, making it roar in pain. On this side he laughed triumphantly, "The moment you make the most serious mistake in your life." Then he rushed towards the 3 of them who were celebrating. Is when you believe that you have killed the enemy. Suddenly at this moment he seemed to have discovered something. At this moment, a small knife was held to his neck, making him extremely surprised. He muttered, hello." Kai behind spoke, "My foster parents raised me well, because the moment you make the biggest mistake is when you kill the enemy." Suddenly the knife fell down and stuck its point into the ground. He raised his hands to surrender to Kai's threat. He curled his lips, "I will remember." Then he thought, how could he sneak behind me? Then he looked at the knife on the ground again, "It's not important, I have to find a way to escape quickly." Suddenly a knife slashed through, blood spurted out non-stop. He fell to his knees in agony. He put the knife to his throat, trying not to shout too loud, "Hayes, I don't want Midu and the others to recognize you." Then he said, "I'm going to ask you a few things, if you answer truthfully, I'll let you go." "Not a chance, who the hell are you?" Kai added, "I am a person living in the dark, you come from another world." This made him extremely scared. His teeth clenched, but his teeth look really ugly. At this moment, Kai thought to himself that the presence he felt just now was very terrifying, but was it because of this guy? He added, "I know we've been watched, even though you've hidden yourself quite well. So I used Midu and the others and waited until you showed up, so you've been watching me from the beginning. We haven't been in this world long, so I need information, so you have to tell me everything you know about the demons." He smiled triumphantly, "You think I'll talk?" Suddenly he stabbed him. He screamed in agony. Kai got up and walked calmly, answering honestly would be easier, unless you want to know what hell is like. He thought in pain, "Don't underestimate me, you brat." Saliva flowed incessantly from his mouth. Suddenly he was surprised to realize something. From his mouth, a purple substance poured out, extremely horrifying. His face began to react, his eyes constantly pouring out eye fluid rolling upwards. Kai stood there observing the situation, TSK, so it carried poison. They had a plan for this case, the army of the Demon Lord. I think they are more complicated than I thought. Suddenly the system appeared something, he looked up and muttered, "Shinju." On this side, Rin was worried, "Is that a dead person?" He looked up, his eyes also changed color, "Kanzaki." At this moment, Kai glanced at Kanzaki behind, Kanzaki's face looked a little scared looking at the person who had been killed lying on the ground. Kai stared at Kanzaki, "Kanzaki, when did you start watching?" Her face was extremely panicked, since the moment that person was on the ground. Then, she said, "This guy is an assassin of the Demon Lord's army, Delphi's, who is now lying flat on the ground and looks extremely miserable, the Demon Lord's army." She remembered that the bear monster had been this guy's pawn since early on. And when Nagase and the others were attacked by the monster, it was also because of this guy. Kanzaki asked him, "You mean they are trying to kill us?" He immediately replied, "Obviously the Demon Lord's army will try to kill the hero candidates. You are right, I am too naive." Her face was worried, "But how could you have discovered the assassin? None of the others discovered it." He looked at Kanzaki and thought to himself, "There's probably no reason to hide it anymore." Then he moved forward, "My family works as assassins, so I smell this and do the same job as me." This made her surprised and shouted, "Assassin, what are you talking about?" Looking at his corpse, which is bleeding, believe it or not, but the dead body on the ground is real. After hearing him, Kanzaki's face was extremely scared. Kai spoke to her, Kanzaki, don't tell anyone about what you just saw. The class has begun to shake because of Hashimoto's condition. He remembered Hashimoto's injured appearance. Kanzaki clenched her hand tightly, gently replied, okay, you are unusually kind. I don't think you care about your classmates. Hearing that, Kai was a little surprised. He turned around and pulled up his hood. They are not like me, they have never fought. Then he turned to look at Kanzaki again, his eyes narrowed slightly. Looking at her appearance, he thought to himself, Kanzaki's dominance might be useful in the future. At this moment, they were gathered around the injured Hashimoto, and a girl was kneeling there, student number 34. Hano Shiori. She was using divine healing to treat Hashimoto. Her hands glided over his body. Flashes of light appeared, and she murmured, please get well. At this moment, Shiori's soft fingers brushed against Hashimoto's throat. The people outside were astonished, everyone with wide eyes, observing. Narumi approached. What do you think, Hana-chan, will Hashimoto be alright? Shiori softly replied, I think he'll recover in an hour. Hearing that, Narumi sighed with relief. That's great, you're amazing, Shuji, that guy's really strong, holding his spirit. Midu on this side immediately replied, that's right, but I have Rina and the others by my side. On this side, Kai was leaning against a tree, calm as if nothing had happened. He closed his eyes gently, seemingly unconcerned with his surroundings. Suddenly, he noticed Kanzaki was looking at him. Why are you looking at me? She turned away abruptly, for no reason. At this moment, a familiar voice rang out, you did it. Leonora's radiant smile was displayed. Midu turned around in surprise. Leonora-san, Gaia-san. Narumi turned back, his voice a little harsh, where have you been all this time? Gaius immediately replied, we haven't gone anywhere, our job is to observe you. This made him startled. What, then why didn't you help us? He had a calm expression, if we always save you, your training will have no effect. Midu's eyes showed his displeasure. Gaius, he almost died, why would you? He replied, pushing fate to the brink of death is a fundamental part of realistic training. From now on, that's how you will fight, don't be quick to utter weak complaints. Immediately after hearing that, those outside were extremely surprised. Midu approached, that's not what I said, didn't you say that this place was full of weak monsters? At this moment, Leonora also added, then it must be the evil assassin. The people outside were surprised, evil assassin. Leonora smiled, ironclad bears shouldn't live in this area, perhaps that person is on a scouting mission to test the combat strength of the hero candidates. He also added, if so, it's possible it's hiding somewhere right now, that's right, we must strengthen our defenses. Then she smiled and said, now we will increase the difficulty of the training, at the current level, you will all die. Some people outside were surprised, increase the difficulty even more than this, someone also expressed their displeasure, this is already terrifying. Shiori's eyes were tearful, will we all be killed? Midu immediately shouted, Leonora-san, that's absurd, everyone's already shaken after the first battle. Leonora maintained the same attitude, it may sound absurd, but you will definitely die if you don't do as I say. This made Midu extremely angry, and he gritted his teeth. Erashur spoke up, first, you dragged us here and now you're giving us orders. Gaius said nothing, just passed by silently, I'll say it this way so you understand. Then he cast his gaze far away, you are all pawns of Leonora-sama, never think you can disobey her. This made them stunned, mouths agape, what? Erashur charged forward angrily, you want to die, don't you? However, he was stopped by the calm Midu. He angrily questioned, why are you still calm? Midu on this side shouted, think carefully, if we don't obey them, their country will become our enemy, and we have no chance of winning. Hearing that, Gaius nodded, impressive, you understand the situation very quickly, don't worry, you are all very important pawns, we won't do anything wrong if you behave properly. Hearing that, he smirked, their country will become our enemy. Then he raised his fist and charged, bring it on, you bastards. He also quickly realized the problem and glanced at. He channeled his energy for an attack and charged, die, activate burst. A large explosion occurred. Dazzling light accompanied by thick dust and smoke, several shadows emerged from the dust and smoke, he clenched his wrist, how pitiful. However, he was unharmed and immediately launched a counterattack. This surprised him greatly. Right as the punch, his power rushed towards him, and Erashur, unable to defend, was knocked away. The powerful punch caused him to be knocked away, dragging his whole body on the ground, his face beaten beyond recognition, his mouth crying out in pain. The people around were extremely frightened but didn't dare to speak. Gaius said, this is the level of your strength now. Then he turned and left, from tomorrow it will get harder and harder, prepare yourselves. He staggered to his feet, muttering, assassin, that dog, and clenched his teeth. His eyes followed the other two. I will definitely kill him. Time quickly passed. One day after the military exercise, at this moment Steady spoke, by order of Leonora. I will be in charge of today's training, come to think of it. I heard that one of you was injured yesterday, are you all right now? Hashimoto replied, if you're talking about me, I'm fine now after using her healing magic, as you can see. Then she pointed forward, and the idiot did too. It turned out the person she was pointing at was none other than Erasure. Steady laughed, I see. So among you there are those with the ability of divine protection to heal wounds, that's wonderful to hear. Hearing this, everyone was very excited. Now I will explain today's training to you all. This is my research facility, I will let everyone fight the monsters here today. Midu wondered, does that mean monsters in the building? Steady didn't answer, just raised his glasses and smiled. At this moment, the door opened. It will be faster if I show you. Inside, a group of goblin imps were trapped in an iron cage. On this side was a lizardval monster, it was gnawing on the iron bar in front of it. On this side was an orge, a giant monster, its mouth constantly drooling. This made the girls in the group a little scared. They went deeper inside. Steady walked while being proud, these are all monsters raised for my research. Leonora also spoke, yes, Miss Steady's Research Institute is a perfect place to use for training sessions. Steady added, I am also very happy to be able to collect combat data from the monsters. They walked behind, everyone's face on high alert. Thus, the combat exercise began. Kai was still standing from afar, observing their training. In his mind, he thought, everyone is surprisingly calm, even though they were suddenly forced to fight. I guess yesterday's experience had a big impact on them. His eyes narrowed, anyway, I guess they're still a little scared. On this side, Rina had fallen down painfully. However, she tried to hold back and stood up to continue the battle. The monster on this side was holding a blade, roaring, staring at her. Midu shouted at this moment, Steady-san, this monster is too strong for her. Steady's face was calm, I don't think so. Furthermore, Leonora-sama said I need to be really strict with you all. Suddenly, when the mage looked back, he was a little confused, and it seemed he was a bit mistaken. Rina on this side wiped away the blood from the wound on her face. Hero candidates with your divine protection shouldn't lose to a monster of that level, she muttered, it's annoying. Then she swung her hand, and a large flame appeared. The most important thing in a battle is will. Anyway, this should have been easy for you guys, the only reason you feel that way isn't because you're worried or hesitant. Midu on this side was surprised, does it really make a difference? Steady was overjoyed, yes, if you increase the level of the guardian, you can create many other variations of that guardian. A foot slowly stepped down, about that, Midu. Midu turned around, what's wrong Shinju? He opened his new eye, in my opinion, you have a new guardian. Immediately scanned the information on Midu, monster slaying sword skill level 2 guardian, kamikaze monster attack guardian level 1, swordsmanship skill level 4, Ord of Evan cruising air protection level 2, monster kamikaze attack diviner protection LV1, a new guardian. At this moment, Midu spoke, Stepan, can I try it out? Of course, that's the purpose of the exercise. Then he slowly walked into the field, mumbling slowly. At this moment, the system appeared. Activate the monster slaying sword. Looking at the appearance of the beast on the other side, he asked, what's wrong, are you afraid? Then he took his sword and rushed forward, sorry, but I won't hold back, go ahead. Soon, he rushed towards it quickly. The beast immediately put up its hand to block its mouth, screaming. With only one sword strike from him, its arm was quickly cut in half. Red blood constantly oozed out, the beast wailed in pain. Midu on this side was very pleased. Next, a sword strike, its head fell to the ground in an instant. This made Kai outside a little surprised. He thought, in that situation, he wouldn't have any more trouble with the ironclad bear's defense. I wonder if my guess is correct, and he created a new guardian for himself. Looking back, I can tell someone has a new guardian. He scanned Arashi's information again, name Erasure Shunsuke, age 17 male, attack B, defense B, agility B, endurance D, system power T, toughness, normal, skills, level 2 monster slaying guardian, level 1 grenade guardian, level 3 martial arts. He closed his eyes, anyway, I shouldn't go and tell him. That way we can expand the power of the guardian. I guess I can't just rely on my old techniques in this world, I also have to become better. By this time it had turned to night. Everyone was sitting in the room. Narumi spoke, are you serious, Erasure? Yes. Erasure frowned, first I'll kill Gaius, then I'll bind Leonora and make her tell me how to return to our world. Everyone responded in unison, so that means we'll leave this monster world. We also won't have to worry about being called here again if we kill Leonora. Erasure looked worried. Cooperate with me, Narumi, you're also fed up with their attitude, right? Narumi asked fearfully, do you think you can win? We'll have a chance if you cooperate with us. Narumi gritted his teeth, thinking, I know that's the way to get back to the old world, but killing people still sounds wrong. Then he remembered the injured ones, but... Narumi whispered, okay, I'll cooperate with you. The next day, everyone continued to practice. On this side, Midu was diligently practicing. Kai was watching him from afar. You're working too hard, he suddenly spoke. Midu stopped, because I'm still weak, I have to become stronger. His eyes narrowed, I think you can defeat half the knights in this country. It's still not enough, I can't defeat Gaius-san, I need to become stronger, strong enough to protect everyone, no matter what happens. He immediately said, Midu, what do you think about Leonora and Gaius? This quickly caught Midu's attention. I know they want to use us as pawns in their war, besides, I don't think they're lying when they say they won't do anything to us if we listen to them. He immediately asked, so you mean you'll bet your life and fight until the demon lord is defeated? Midu's eyes were full of determination. Right, I've decided to do that. But I'll be the only one who has to fight, I will become the hero of this country and defeat the demon lord. That's why I can try to compromise and make sure everyone is safe, a good idea, but do you think Leonora will accept it? He raised his sword, I will swing this sword and make sure she agrees. At this moment, a voice rang out, everyone has worked very well today. It turned out to be Gaius and Leonora walking over. At this moment, Steady excitedly walked over, Leonora-sama, Steady, you will be in charge of the hero candidates when we are not here. He immediately replied, yes, I won't let you down. Rina over here spoke up, when you are not here, where are you going? Leonora replied with a laugh, that's right, we're going away for a few days, that's why we asked Steady to look after you guys during this time. After saying that, she immediately turned around and walked away, excuse us, then the two of them left. The two backs just faded away. Steady watched, the corners of his mouth slightly smiling. The sky at this moment was unusually clear. Gaius said, do you think this is a good idea? Leonora wondered. Why do you say that? He replied. Please don't pretend to be clueless anymore, the young boy named Erasure is up to something. At this moment, Leonora gently raised her teacup to sip. Then she replied, yes, it could be a rebellion against us. Gaius got out of the car and said, so what are you planning to do then? Inside the car she smiled radiantly, I'm curious to see what they'll do, just leave them like that. He squinted, I know they are making the most of their strengths, but they are still hero candidates, it may be very difficult to happen, but if they try to rise up against us then. That won't happen, moreover, they can never defeat me. At this moment, there were a few buffaloes grazing in the field. Suddenly he squinted, right, but don't you think we can use it as an opportunity? The teacup in her hand swayed, yes, I'm thinking of establishing a hierarchical system. Then we will smash this rebellion and break their fangs a few times and forever. I can see a few suspicious things going on, but for now, just leave them like that for now. Soon it was evening that day. At this moment, Kai was fighting with the beast in the forest. He bounced up and jumped. His body was suspended in midair, staring at the beast. Then he rushed straight ahead, throwing a small knife at the beast. Realizing there were no signs of survival, he immediately left, so it took me 13 seconds to kill a monster at this level. Activate the judgment ability. Name Shinju Kai, age 17, male, attack B, defense F, agility B, strength C, system power E, normal condition, skills include, inspector level 2, weakness detection level 1, assassination level 5, knife technique level 5, throwing technique level 5, disguise level 5. He thought to himself, I think I leveled up when I killed that demon assassin, the problem is how do I use this? Suddenly, a noise made him turn around. It turned out to be a monster charging towards him. It punched the ground causing broken stones to fly everywhere. Kai and it face to face, he muttered, giant monster. At this moment, it opened its mouth and lunged forward. He immediately spread his hand and held up 3 small knives. Then, he continuously charged towards it. The creature, hit by the attack, slowly retreated. Suddenly he thought to himself, isn't it going to go through? I guess this is the ideal time to test out my new skill. Then he immediately activated the weakness identification. The creature's weak point was immediately circled, which was the back of its neck. Then Kai crouched down and leaped straight up. His body was suspended in midair, he was aiming at its weak point. A knife was thrown straight down, hitting its neck, blood splattered. The creature was quickly defeated. So it showed me the weakest part of the giant monster's body. I understand, so this is weakness identification, It's not a bad skill, but it's not enough. I need more to survive in this world. He clenched his fists. I need to be even stronger. At this moment, the goblins started to approach. Kai, he immediately activated the weakness identification mode. It turned out that the weak points of this group were on their left chests and the tops of their heads. He immediately swung an attack. The knives were plunged straight into the tops of their heads. In less than 2 minutes, they were all dead. That's right, their weak points are in their brains and hearts, so this skill isn't really effective against normal monsters. I need a bigger test subject, maybe I should find another monster. I need a bigger test subject, maybe I should find another monster. Suddenly, some sound attracted him. Footsteps of a person, a figure from afar was walking towards him. It turned out to be Kanzaki walking towards him with a flashlight. Shinju. He turned around. Kanzaki, what are you doing here at this hour? She slowly walked forward. I came to find you because I didn't see you in the dorm. I guessed you might be here, so I came here and found you. He sighed. The forest is very dangerous at night. You should go, however. She seemed to react sharply. That's what I should be saying, you know, he replied. I'm used to the darkness. But you're different. Fighting monsters at night is not the same as during the day. She shouted at him, shut up. What are you doing here anyway? Kai replied, I'm testing a new guardian ability. She wondered, new guardian. Steady also said, right. He said we could have new guardian abilities if our guardians level up. Hearing that, she was a little thoughtful. So what is your new guardian ability? He turned to leave. Why should I tell you? Seeing that, she was a little angry. You know I came here because I was worried about you. He smiled lightly. You're worried? You worried about me? She was embarrassed, trying to deny it. No, it's just how I talk. Anyway, you should go back. I'm going to try out my new ability for a bit. She immediately said, then I'll go with you. Suddenly she noticed something. She pointed forward. Hey, what's that smoke? He wondered. Smoke, looking into the distance, a cloud of smoke. An orange color appeared densely. It turned out that in that side there was a house on fire. The goblins are wreaking havoc there. The beasts are preparing to attack them. The beasts are preparing to attack them. They roared, looking extremely scary. Shiori ran out in fear. Suddenly in front of her was that giant monster. At this moment, an attack came rushing in. It turned out that Midu had appeared in time. He asked Shiori, are you okay? Her face still hasn't lost her fear. Gently replied, thank you. At this time the goblins came over. He squinted. Damn, they're coming more and more. They walked through the flames without a hint of fear. Rina ran out at this moment, just as I was about to sleep. What the hell is going on with them? Shunsuke immediately said, there's no time to complain, just deal with them, the fire is still raging. Kai and Kanzaki ran back in panic. Is our dorm on fire? It seems that others are also fighting the monsters. I'm glad you two are safe. Kai immediately replied, I just went out for a bit. What the hell happened here? Oh, I'm not sure either. I woke up because I saw the fire and then these monsters were everywhere. He squinted. This is the work of humans. The leader is here. Let's find and catch him. A voice rang out. Good deduction, hero candidates. At this moment the person who came out surprised them. They were stunned. Steady, I was wondering how these monsters could get in here, but now. Then it all makes sense. These are all monsters from your lab, right? He replied, they are my lovely little white mice. Besides, I gave them some medicine to make them stronger because they were too weak before. Kai squinted and asked, what is your purpose? What good will killing the hero candidates do for you? This is an order from my superiors. I am ordered to destroy the hero candidates. Even if in doing so, I will lose my current position. I don't hate you guys, but I will kill you. At this time Kanzaki said, an order from the superiors. Wait, do you mean Leonora-san? No, of course not. I'm not talking about that old fox. He recalled the words, this is an order from the devil. Narumi shouted, are you a spy of the devil? Steady replied, yes. And if I do a good job, I will also get a research position there. Have you sunk too deep into the darkness to the point where all you care about is monster research? He didn't say anything, just gently lifted his glasses, then Steady burst out laughing. I'm sorry, but human society cannot fully understand the true nature of the mysteries we call monsters. At this time the fire was getting bigger and bigger. Steady was standing above, looking extremely excited. He provoked, go ahead. At this moment the beasts also began to attack them. Kai shouted, Kanzaki, I know. Then she put her hand out to control. Stand still. Then she said, your opponent is that guy. He sneered on this side, it's useless, wake up, my monsters. The monsters at this time returned to normal and began to move. Kanzaki yelled, what, how could this be? Steady replied, I'm a scientist, you know, I know how to deal with these rebellious monsters. Then he ordered the monsters to attack. Kanzaki backed away. At this moment, Kai had pulled out his familiar small knife. He slashed swiftly, and each monster was taken down by him, blood gushing out and lying on the floor. He laughed and said, there are still many, where do they come from? At this moment, all the monsters charged forward together. Kai jumped up, soaring into the air. Then he also took down one by one. Using only the small knife in his hand, he stabbed a blow to the head of the crocodile. Suddenly, he saw a giant monster rushing towards him. He quickly dodged its attack, and then kicked it. The kick caused it pain, teeth and lips mixed together. Less than 2 minutes later, it fell down. He still held up the small knife to defend himself, and the beasts on this side looked at him with caution. Steady yelled, "What are you doing? That guy doesn't even have a strong guardian spirit." Below, Kai stood with his hands clasped, at a loss. Then he opened his eyes wide, activating the assessment. Name, Steady Archheim, age 28, male, attack F, agility F, stamina F, mana F, status, half-elf, ability, domination magic level 1, ability, domination magic level 1. So that's it, the reason Kanzaki's domination doesn't work is because the monsters are taking orders from someone with stronger magic than him. How insightful, that's right, powerful demons can use domination magic and control monsters. Steady walked to the side, grinding his teeth. Damn it, I don't want to use it, but there's no other way. Then he took a deep breath. This made Kai seem worried. What are you doing? He laughed and said, you'll know soon enough. So, I'll close the curtain. Before that happens. Suddenly, a light flashed, startling him. A large pile of fire fell right in front of him. Kai quickly stepped back. He gritted his teeth, looking extremely angry. What the hell is that? A fire dragon appeared. He burst out laughing. This is my trump card, the fire dragon. The giant dragon looked at the small people below. Then it quickly swooped down. Rocks and soil fell continuously, startling them. Kanzaki panicked. No, we can't dodge this. However, Kai quickly embraced her and dodged. Are you alright, Shinjuku-kun? Narumi, I'm fine, it's about to attack again. Carry Kanzaki and run, I understand. At this moment, the fire dragon flaps its wings and continues to attack them. The two of them leave, leaving only Kai standing there. It's coming. Suddenly, he discovered its weak point. His eyes lit up. I see it now. Then, he attacked with a single strike. Suddenly, he was astonished to find that the dragon showed no reaction whatsoever. He clenched his wrist. Too tough, I can't cut through it with my current attack power. Looking at the roaring dragon, he thought, what should I do? Look at that, perfect size to be my prey. Erasure stood on the rooftop, staring down. Then he channeled his energy and charged to his death. A direct attack that caused the dragon to writhe in pain. He burst out laughing. How about that, you wretched lizard? Suddenly, his eyes became panicked. He was hit by the dragon's fire breath directly onto his body. His body caught fire, causing Erasure to writhe in agony. Kai sighed, you let your guard down, but I still have to admit, he's strong. He stood up, staring. Damn it, that hurts. Kai then stood up and pulled something out of his pocket. Listen carefully, Erasure. We have to take it down together.